This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There we go. Now we do it. There we go. There he is. Island, you're on a boat, right, or something? Where the hell are you?
I'm in the aquarium, man. I'm in Atlanta at the aquarium. So I just got back in
that
town.
thing's badass.
Yeah,
That's
it's a dope
badass.
aquarium. Yeah, so my
Yes.
wife loves it. So last time we went to Atlanta, we came. This time she wanted to come again. So, this is a time where I just do whatever wifey needs me to do.
No, hey, dude, but
it's pretty
that's
dope.
actually, yeah. I went myself when I went for the SEC media days. That was one of the, besides the College Football Hall of Fame, and I also went to a concert because there was a concert during that time that I was there. But I went. Everybody told me you got to go to the aquarium, and I went, dude, and it was awesome. It was really freaking
huge.
cool.
It's huge. They got a shark. They had a shark exhibit that was really dope. Learning a lot about sharks, the dolphins. We're gonna try to do a dolphin show, the sea lions. It's everything you would want in an aquarium. So
I would suggest anybody that goes to Atlanta.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, that is one of the things you should do when you're in Atlanta. It's such a cool downtown area, by the way.
Yeah,
they've also
the cool thing, if you want to make a day out of it, is they have the Civil Rights Museum right next to it. We did that last time we were here. We're not going to be able to do it again this time. But you can double dip, spend 4 or 5 hours between the two spots, get your lunch, and that'll be a good day. So I think both museums are dope. But the aquarium, like for kids or for adults, it's a vibe out here. So yeah.
And by the way, the College Football Hall of Fame is there too. I'm sure you've been there. That thing is awesome. I love the College Football Hall of Fame. So they've done a marvelous job with their downtown area where everything's in walking distance. Yeah, man, they do a really good job.
And that's good because traffic in the city is rough. So all you got to do is go downtown and just stay there so you don't have to deal with the traffic.
Dude, tomorrow, Sunday, church time. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit. The traffic is freaking brutal on a Sunday in Atlanta, bro.
Yeah, we're going to have to be strategic. Wifey wants to do brunch somewhere. We're not doing brunch downtown. We're going to find somewhere in the outskirts that we can not be in the congestion of all this traffic.
Yeah, dude. Like, people don't realize when you go to Atlanta, our traffic is bad. Their traffic is actually worse, I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know why. Maybe a smaller area compared
mountains.
to people, but
the mountains.
But it's everybody's driving. I think the opposite is in Miami, everybody's moving as fast as they can, reckless. In Atlanta, it's just slow. It's stop and go slow.
Yeah. The good thing in Miami or South Florida, you can get off the highway and use other avenues to get by. When you're in certain cities, like in Atlanta, like you're stuck in a valley, you're screwed, bro. There's no way around a mountain.
No. You got to take the highway. For real. It took us. We got within a mile of the aquarium, and then it took us another 45 minutes to get from where we were to the parking garage inside the aquarium. So, Yeah,
that's why I would plan always. If you go to Atlanta, plan to go into downtown and plan to do a bunch of things in downtown, so you don't have to be driving around all over the place because it just you'll spend more time in your car, and it's just it's just not worth it. All right, so dude, I really enjoyed the conversation with Tyreek and Tua, and it had nothing to do with football because this has nothing to do with football at this point in time, but the connection, the friendship, the job that they have to do in order to build each other up and all of that kind of stuff, which is all part of supporting each other in anything, bro, in a corporation, in a law office. It doesn't matter. You guys at NFL Network, you guys have to support each other sometimes in sharing stories and information and stuff like that. So
absolutely,
there's always and so in other words, that work environment, that vibe, it's there.
So what I thought was really dope about the podcast, and I think it's interesting because it's the first time I really thought about this. But in Tua's life, he's probably always been the biggest star in every single place he's been. whether it be high school, at Alabama, even early in his career here. Even when he wasn't playing, he's the person we talked about more. Tyreek Hill joins, and all of a sudden, he's got at least a match, if not a bigger star on a national scale than him. And he's got a guy who is very outward with his personality. And so he's a guy who clearly loves him and wants to hype him up. But it's so interesting to see another star and the yin and yang from how they interact. Because, Tua, although we've seen spouts of him showing a little bit more outward, we know him as a guy who's more humble, more internal, a guy who's not going to be the Tyreek, And so to hear Tyreek say some comments and the Tua piggyback off and make a joke and kind of hear them vibe and maybe how their friendship works, I think it gives you a little bit of realness in between them. And so I thought that was the dopest element of it. You hear Tyreek talking about, I'm going to be in your kitchen at 2 a.m., washing dishes. And I don't think, obviously he's not being serious, but I think he's just showing the support he wants to give for his quarterback. But one of the most interesting parts of the pod to me was and I think this kind of gets into the difference between Tua's personality and maybe what Tyreek can do for him is he was talking about getting the receivers together. And he was talking about, Tua was telling a story about how he wanted to get the guys together and he was asking them, where do they want to meet? And Tyreek's like, you're the quarterback. Tell us where we're meeting and we'll all show up. And I think to have somebody to say, hey, look, we're going to follow your line. Whatever you say is how it goes. I don't care how many Pro Bowls I made, how many years we're here. You're the head honcho. We're following you. I think that empowers your young quarterback. And I'm eager to see, from Mike McDaniel to Tyreek Hill, it seems like everybody's empowering him, not because he needed confidence, but because maybe he gets to go ahead, this is your team. Before Ryan Fitzpatrick was here, you probably had to take the back seat. When Brian Flores was here, it was very clearly his team, Flo's team. Now it's Tua's team. Even though Mike McDaniel will tell you, this is Tua's team. And so when you empower your quarterback to have that, I think that allows you to get to different levels for where you want to go.
Well, listen, Dad doesn't let you drive the car until he thinks you can drive the car. He doesn't let you cut the lawn until he thinks you're not going to cut your fingers off running the lawnmower, right? I mean, that's what responsible parents do with their kids. And then you feel like, wow, I'm growing up. Dad's letting me do this. You know what I'm saying? And so in life, it's the same thing. You might become a trial lawyer, but at the beginning, when you walk into that law office, you're going to be doing a bunch of research until they feel that you're ready to go to take a small trial on and then a bigger one and a bigger one and so on and so forth. Well, this is I had this discussion with Omar. You cannot grow in any way, shape, or form in life if the people above you don't allow you to grow. And the guy he had last year coaching him did not believe in him, did not want him. Hell, in the middle of the season, he still thought, Jacoby Brissett was better, and he was sticking with him for a moment. And so when, I love when people turn this shit on Tua and they say, oh, well, he's not the real leader because he didn't want to be a captain. No, dude, you don't want to be a captain when somebody is not supporting you and they're going to be shitting on you constantly. And when you look at what Tua is right now, Tua now is see, here's the misconception of all of this. This is the real Tua we're watching now. This is the Tua that was at Alabama. The Tua that was here the last 2 years was sent into a shell by his coach because he didn't want him. Now his coach wants him, his teammates want him, and now he can actually be himself. Watch him be a captain. Watch him be a leader now. But you can't go in there and boss everybody when you haven't done it. And that's the other thing. Remember that conversation when Tyreek says, dude, you're the quarterback. You tell us where you need us to be, and we'll be there. See, but here's the problem. You've been in locker rooms, and so have I. You cannot tell people what to do in an NFL locker room until you prove that you've arrived. Unless you're Aaron Donald, that you signed a free agent contract and you're coming over, and if you want to walk in and start imposing your will, well, fuck, you're Aaron Donald. You can do that. Hey, well, bro, go ahead. You're Aaron Donald. Much respect to you. But in this league, Ryan Tannehill could never take over a locker room in the Dolphins because he never took over on the field. Now you're going to watch the kid take over on the field and in the locker room because the atmosphere has allowed him to be himself.
And I guarantee you this, because obviously the podcast is just starting. I don't know how many people watch it. I don't know what the numbers are, but I guarantee you a large part of the Dolphins locker room watched the podcast to see how Tua interacted, see how Tyreek interacted. And one thing that I don't think is talked enough about the dynamic of locker rooms, your locker room is defined on who gets paid. And so everybody in that locker room knows that Tyreek Hill got $30 million a year. Trust me. Everybody knows that he's the highest paid player on the team. And he doesn't have to say anything. They know. They saw all the highlights. They know. Everybody. And so because of that, your locker room is going to follow, for better or for worse, the highest paid players in their team. So that's going to be your Tyreek Hills. That's going to be your Xavier Howards. That's going to be, your Teron Armstead. Those are going to be the guys who are, your culture is going to be built on those guys. And so when the first thing you hear in the podcast with your quarterback is Tyreek Hill giving them permission, empowering him to be the guy, everybody else, if they were on the fence, which everybody might not have been fully in on the Tua brigade. There might be some people who are on the fence. But you hear Tyreek Hill all in on his quarterback, saying, all in, this is our guy. We believe in you doing that. Your natural inclination in that locker room is to say, all right, I'm with it. Let's ride. It's Tua's team. Let's ride. And so, intentional or not, I think there's power in those words, and it gives confirmation to the rest of the locker room that this is the path that we need to go. And so, I think that Tua, if he hadn't realized that, is realizing that this offseason, that with Mike McDaniel, with Tyreek, this is your team. We're all in on you. We're giving you that power. And then he's embracing it. And now you're starting to see the outward personality that a lot of people who I know of him, know him, are saying is truly who he is. And so that's the part I'm excited about. Obviously he's got to do it on the field. All this is great in June, but I think we're setting up for him to have that year that you think he can have, I think he can have, and really quiet a lot of the naysayers. So I think that everything we're seeing is setting up for where I think it's going to be a really strong year 3 for Tua.
Look, some of the same crap is going on in Jacksonville. I read an article where, Trevor Lawrence is now picking up things faster. And I'm like, he's a second-year player that went through a first year with Urban Disaster Meyer. Dude, he's not the problem. He's just a young player that needs to learn the NFL, but he needs the proper people around him in order to succeed. I'm old enough, dude. I saw Steve Young kick ass for the LA Express in the USFL, then go to Tampa Bay Bucks and look like a freaking, a bum. But we all knew Steve Young wasn't a bum. He was just stuck in a bum-ass place like the Bucks in those days. And then guess who wanted him? Bill Walsh. Bill Walsh went and grabbed him from Tampa and parked him behind Joe Montana. A lot of times, Archie Manning went through hell because he was on a bad Saints team. Steve Bartkowski, where you're at in Atlanta, is a bad mother effer. But he was on the freak Falcons, bro. And so he never really got to see big-time success because he didn't have the people around him. And to me, Trevor Lawrence and Tua are a products of their environment the last 3 years. Tua 2, Lawrence 1. And I think they'll both see different things now with proper leadership around him. And we blame these young men, and we really don't take the time to look at what's going on around them.
Yep. A lot of times your success is defined on where you end up. David Carr might have ended up being a quarterback who was better if he didn't land in the worst franchise, in the Spencer franchise, who got him sacked 70 times a game. But we'll never know.
Amen.
And that's just the reality of the situation. So hopefully, for Miami's sake, they fixed it so that Tua is not that same story. So that we're talking about, the same way people forget that Peyton Manning had a disastrous first year or two where he had more interceptions and touchdowns. Nobody ever talks about that when you talk about Hall of Fame Peyton Manning, because the rest of his career bounced back. And I'm not saying Tua is going to be that, but I'm saying you forget about the start of your career if everything else defines itself the way you want after your first start. So I think this is a very key year, but I do think that he's set up better to succeed than he has been at any point in his NFL career. And so that's a huge sign for him, big opportunity, and I think he's ready for it.
All right, man. Enjoy your 4th of July weekend. I appreciate you catching up with us here on a Saturday, my friend. Thank you for taking some time. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolfe. Cam, thank you, my man. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
You got it. There you go. The Wolf Pack has been released.